Part 58. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 571. Oreki. So why are you so explicit? Do you really want him to wipe off his sweat? Oreki-san then took the towel handed over by Itaiji, wiped his face, and then handed the towel back to him. But Sakayanagi Yuzu turned around and handed the towel to Kamuro Maesumi. Maesumi Kamuro. Kamuro-san feels that he should not be here at this time. Because she found out that the exam situation might have changed, she also came over. As a result, I am now holding a towel in a daze. But there is no way to refuse now. So I had no choice but to stand aside with a towel and a bitter look on my face. Only. What we are talking about now is that the head teacher of Class D of the first grade attacked a student. Is it so terrifying? And this teacher is still on the island. Doesn't this need to be dealt with immediately? Rejected, but the digital teacher on the board who had sent the request to terminate the exam stood up. Principal Yu Cheng said that a security team will be arranged to take the suspected teacher Sima Dion back first. But the exam must go on. At the same time, an order was issued to prohibit further discussion of this matter. I was worried that it would shake the students' sense of security and cause other troubles. That's what I said. But why? The teacher on the board in Class C looked puzzled. Of course he didn't understand, because it was useless to report to Yu Cheng. Yu Cheng and Sima Dion were from the same group. So the person to whom the report was made was wrong. Well, this is really sad news. It's just that Yu Cheng is the principal and has authority. And the head teachers of Class A of the three classes were all on the boat. In other words, it fulfilled what Oreki-san said to Amasawa Ichika at the beginning, that if Tsubasa-senpai reported it, she would still be in danger. Because the examiners are all shady, will it be useful if you report them? Looks like the plan failed. And Junior Tians came to the front of the two seniors. Her left hand has been photographed and returned to its original position. However, it only shook slightly now and became flexible again. Oreki-san suddenly thought, is it possible that this dislocation was not caused by Sima Dion, but by herself? Although she is a student of White House, her general status is that of a student. And Sima Dion is the teacher. Therefore, as long as a student is injured, Sima Dion, as a teacher, will definitely be punished. So, is it possible that this method was deliberately used to suppress Sima Dion? Because the opponent is an instructor, he will definitely lose if his strength comes first, but he can be assisted by external factors. If this is the case, then you are also very scary, elementary school girl. Now I understand a little bit why Kushida-san rejects Ichika Amasawa so much. When this schoolgirl really hummed her, Kushida-san could only be pushed to the ground and eat dirt. That's not necessarily true, Oreki-san said. Although the school refuses to terminate the exam, there are other options to terminate it. What do you mean? Then 3 students were attacked in succession, and Kosake Anaga did not agree to continue the exam. After all, the chairman is Sakayanagi Yuzu's father. This matter is the responsibility of Yu Cheng as the examiner, but if a student is injured again, then maybe it will be exposed. There may be rebuke from the outside. So Sakayanagi didn't want his father to be difficult. Stop the exam, Oreki-san said. If Mr. Tsukijo doesn't allow it? What if all the students abstain? Sakayanagi. I see. As expected of Houtarou, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. So is there anything I can do to help? Of course, Oreki said. Because we need to notify so many students, we need manpower. So will the specially prepared walkie-talkie come in handy at this time? A student who abstains will be compensated with 50,000 points, Oreki said. As for these compensations, I think Mr. Yu Cheng will pay generously. On the ship. And Mr. Yu Cheng at this moment. Yueshin. I always feel a little uneasy. He put down the tablet. What he is currently in is his own small office room. Outside, there were 3 head teachers from class A who were eyeing him. It's just okay. Only he knows the information just reported on the digital board of grade 2 class C, so as long as he suppresses it, there will be no problem. Only Bai Fangsheng is really difficult to deal with. It's okay if Taku Yagamai doesn't obey, but Ichika Amasawa, are you coming too? But hey, it's me. Yueshin also began to contact the security team to dispatch. But it was not to capture Sima Dian. Rather, if Sima Dian still wanted to take action, he had to take action immediately. He arranged for people to assist him. So, this time, the nearly half-year-long mission of dropping out of school Ayanokaji Kiyotaka will come to an end. However, Principal Yu Cheng did not expect that the end would come so early. It was over the next day. Chapter 266 Give Instructor Baifang a little bit of the shock of being a high school student. Because the students all chose to bet on the hitchhiking card, according to the rules of the card. Once the students bet correctly, as the organizer, Moon City will need to pay a large amount of money. In this way, Mr. Tsukijo was stared at by the 3 head teachers of class A who had a strong sense of justice. No further intervention is possible. At the same time, the losses were also huge. It is certain that the points will be depleted. This is Yu Cheng's lack of thinking. It is better to say that when specifying test questions, you need to consider the purpose, but you must also be prepared for possible large expenditures, so you must grasp an appropriate degree. From this point of view, Yu Cheng's way of thinking is slightly on the school's side. However, for Yu Cheng, even though the result was a mess, his mission was almost over. After experiencing the failure of those first-year students in Baoquan, after sacrificing the first-year students, Tsubasa Nanes, and Chirobo students, as long as we cover up and give Simakian some time, the mission can finally be over. Yes. Yu Cheng understands this. He thinks Sima Dian will lose. So, after Yagamai Taku disobeyed, he then fully supported Sima Dian. Then no matter how much Sima Dian failed, he could still turn to that adult. Because now that the adults are finished, that gentleman will probably accept this result. So he arranged for people to assist Sima Dian. Just waiting for the final battle between the opponent and Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. Only. Principal Yu Cheng. At 10 o'clock the next morning he received the message. It was sent by the digital teacher on the board who was on duty yesterday. Although Tian's betrayed him, the news was reluctantly suppressed, so he had already given the greatest support to Sima Dian. So now we just need to wait for the news of Sima Dian's failure to come through. But the uninhabited island exam is over. The numbers on the board were reported. However, this report is more like an announcement than a report. Inform him that the exam is over. Didn't I say that the exam will continue, and then I also arranged for the security team to contain the suspected Sima Dian? Yu Cheng felt that the people below were disobedient. No, the board's digital report said, because all the students, except the top 3, abstained. So under such circumstances, the examination can only be terminated. Yu Cheng was stunned for a moment. Because there is still such an operation? Meanwhile, here is the list of remaining 3 students' results. I have sent it to your email, please confirm, the number on the board said. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 572. And Yu Cheng quickly clicked on his phone. First place in scoring, 2nd grade class A, Oreki Houtarou, Kojinji team total score 467 points. Second place in scoring, Kahei Katsuragi, grade 2 class A, Kito Hayabusa's team total score is 356 points. Third place in scoring, Utsunomiya, Haru Sakurako, class B, First grade, passerby NPC group total score 340 points. Above are the results of the top 3. At the same time, it is also matched with the list of the 5 groups that gave up the earliest. The lowest score is Aguilera's solo team from Class B, 3rd grade, with 0 points. The second to last scorer, the NPC single team in Class D, 1st grade, 0 points. The third lowest score, a single NPC team from Class D, 1st grade, 0 points. The fourth lowest score, single NPC team from Class D, 1st grade, 0 points. The fifth lowest score, single NPC team from Class D, 1st grade, 0 points. The sixth lowest scorer is Sakura Eri from Class D, 2nd grade, single team, 0 points. Oh. The results are out. So what happened? And when I think about it, the door of Yu Cheng's office was pushed open. 3 head teachers from Class A came in. Principal Yu Cheng, the exam is over. The students who abstained have also returned. Mashima, the head teacher of Class A, 2nd grade, said. Yueshin. Should everyone be killed first and then punished? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because the exam was over, all the students returned to the ship. These days on the uninhabited island, I often walk more than 10,000 steps according to basic movements, or climb mountains, and sleep in hard tents. It was torture, and on top of that the food was not well served. So the students returned to the ship, either heading to their dormitories, getting massages, or going to have a big meal. The only fly in the ointment is that Ryuan's class feels they are at a loss. Because the exam ended early, he still had a considerable amount of supplies that he had not sold. So in the end, minus the material points collected from the first-year students and his class before the exam started, they only earned about 1 million points. It should be said that Long Yuan is floating, and it is a good thing to gain some points. However, Oreki-san was very tolerant and did not stare at Ryuan's wallet this time. Only. Beep. 1 million private points have been credited to your personal account, and the transfer party is XT1495001. Oreki-san was impressed by this transfer. And the other party is also very good. A note was added when transferring money. Note, buy you 10 minutes. It's really unbearable. Oreki-san's 10 minutes were purchased again. So I followed the message and went to the meeting place. Esther's Stockings Hotel. This was the place where Oreki-san and the representatives of the other 4 classes divided the points for the privileged candidates during the preferential candidate exam last year. Now revisiting the old place. Probably for the same thing. Because the exam is over, but Principal Yu Cheng, as the examiner, has not cashed in all the points. Therefore, there is still some expenditure on his side that cannot be completed. In this way, if Principal Yu Cheng doesn't ask him out, then he will go find him. Oreki-san. Principal Tsukijo chose a private room and sat on one side. After noticing Oreki's arrival, he took out 2 point cards from his pocket. He handed one of them to Oreki-san. It's 1 million. Oh. Oreki-san finally put it in his pocket. Then sit down in front of the other person. During the previous holiday, Mr. Tsuki City called him out with 1 million points. But now it's time to repeat the same trick. What did you do in this exam? Yu Cheng said. And now the other card is the expenditure for this special examination. In other words, did you deliberately withhold the reward in order to get the truth from him? Actually, I'm also under a lot of pressure, and Yueshin said. I originally accepted the mission from that gentleman and came here, but more than half a year has passed and there has been no progress in the mission. And now Baifang's students are also ready, and Baifang's instructors are also ready. However, it's a little regrettable that it ended so unclearly, Yu Cheng said. Is it? So you are prepared to fail the mission? Seeing that Mr. Tsukijo was ready to pay the bill, Oreki-san told the story. First of all, it starts with Yagamai's disciple taking the initiative to have a showdown with Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. But the showdown here was only a showdown. He was called away by Tsukijo, and then like Hosen, he was told that Ayanokaji Kiyotaka had 20 million points for dropping out of school. But he did not accept the task and even exposed other people who were called away by Yu Cheng. He seems to be harmless to humans and animals, and he is a good disciple. That is to say, you would have doubted what he wanted to do at that time, Yu Cheng said. In fact, Tsukijo knew very well that Oreki had judged Yagamai as a White House student just after entering school. So Yagamai's disguise is useless. And Yagamai's proactive actions will make the other party care. Absolutely, Oreki-san said. I speculate that he may take action on the uninhabited island this time. Then I still want to think about how he will take action, Oreki-san said. In the end, the plan he used was to attack Koma Yayama and the others in front of Ayanokaji. It made people speechless. Is it? So you know it was Yagamai who attacked? Yu Cheng continued to listen. In fact, it can be confirmed from the fact that Yagamai took the initiative to contact Ayanokaji, and even provoked the 20 million dropout incident, that Yagamai is too arrogant. He deliberately had a semi-showdown with Ayanokaji to reduce the burden on Ayanokaji, and then wanted to provoke him in front of the other party on an uninhabited island. But, kid, do you know that not only Oreki Houtarou doubts you, but Ayanokaji Kiyotaka may also have confirmed that you are a Shirobo-san. Then, first drop out of Shime Kanari, and then drop out of Yagamai, Oreki-san said. Ueshin. Can you say this to him? You know he is the principal. However, Yu Cheng knew that the plan had failed. I will report back to that gentleman, Yu Cheng said. And Sima Dian will also leave with me because of your report. And he is probably very confused now, Yu Cheng said. That's true, Oreki-san said. Because now he probably finally found Ayanokaji-san's bracelet in the hut of the caretaker of the island. Tsukijo knew that Simakori was prepared to use violence to make Ayanokaji Kiyotaka surrender. Then the information was obtained that Simakori entrusted Ichika Amasawa to lure Ayanokaji Kiyotaka over. But Amasawa Ichika betrayed. Not only resisted but also intentionally reported injuries. Sima Dian was unable to dismount from the tiger. Therefore, we can only continue to use violence and find Ayanokaji Kiyotaka as soon as possible. That means the violence continues. And in order to prevent this, did you actually tamper with Ayanokaji's bracelet? Generally speaking, Shimakura's mobility is very strong, so even if it's just one night, he can find Ayanokaji Kiyotaka and start a duel, Tsukijo said. Not at all, Oreki-san said. Ayanokaji-san chose to withdraw when Amasawa came to report yesterday, but I gave his bracelet to another person. Thanks to that person, teacher Sima Dian probably spent the whole night playing a game of cat and mouse. So it's not Ayanokaji-san that Simakori is chasing, but her. But now she has swam back to the ship by herself. Is it? Then you are great. It's just that this means there's still no fight. Mr. Tsukijo felt a little regretful. Because he was broken by Ayanokaji Kiyotaka, but Shimakura didn't experience this feeling at all, which was really a blessing. I finally understand, Yu Cheng said. Because you discovered that the adults were preparing to use violence, you used the solution you could handle. Because of Amasawa Ichika's betrayal, Oreki knew that Shimakura was planning to use violence. So how to stop it? What they chose was to end the exam early. As long as the exam is over, Ayanokaji will not encounter violent incidents if he is not on the island. It would be better to say that this is the result of your actions, Oreki-san said. Violent attacks, where force is paramount, can easily injure innocent people. As students of this school, we have the responsibility to protect the school. Yu Cheng couldn't deny this. Actually, We also encountered some minor troubles in the specific operations, Oreki-san said. Oh. Yu Cheng looked over. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 573. Because you, who were so successful just now, may also encounter trouble. To be precise, it would be quite troublesome to get all 3 grade students to abstain within half a day, Oreki said. Because it's also cumbersome to contact people and then get them to sign a written waiver. Yueshin. Okay. Stop talking. He is the principal of the school and he is not qualified to rule 3 grades. From this perspective, the right time, place, and people are not on their side, so it is impossible to complete the task. Unless it's to give money. I gave you the point card, Yu Cheng said. I hope we never meet again. With that said, he placed another point card on the table. Oreki-san took out his phone and swiped through it. 130.59 million. Then because the students all abstained, only the top 3 and the bottom 5 have rewards and the penalty of deducting private points. And these values are all right. But wait a minute, Principal Tsukijo. I still have 50,000 points to bribe the students who abstained. Oreki-san returned the point card. Yueshin. Do you want him to come out? You have to pay for buying students, right? Yu Cheng said. But Mr. Shirofa caused such a big and hurtful incident at a Kyosei high school. If it were exposed, wouldn't Mr. Shirofa be affected? Oreki said. For it. This cannot be denied. Because Baifang and Yuchin High School are in a certain relationship, and Baifang feels that they are superior to others. Then he sneaked into Yuchin High School and committed a vicious act that hurt people. If exposed, that adult would also be implicated. Only. Yu Cheng looked up at the ceiling. Because Houtarou Oreki probably doesn't know about the existence and the nature of the White House. So the person who can tell him the news is probably Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. So, Ayanokaji Kiyotaka, why are you telling Houtarou Oreki this news? Is the relationship so good? And if something goes wrong with the White House, your assets will also shrink. And on the other side, on the deck. Isn't this Ayanokaji-san, Kojinjiro Kusuke, who had abstained early, saw another student who had abstained. Chapter 267. The cooperation is successful, everyone makes money. Neun. Takaharaji-san, who gave up early, met a former classmate, Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. The current Kojinjiro Kusuke is a second-year student in Class A, and the first student in history to successfully jump to another class. It's a pretty good title for the proud Jyuin Temple. Hey, Ayanokaji. Takaharaji greeted him. Ayanokaji. Kakaharaji-san, is something wrong? No, I just feel like you are waiting for someone, Jyuinji said. His impression of this Ayanokaji classmate was still in the time when the class was going to vote to drop out of the exam last year, and Ayanokaji classmate was sacrificed by Yamauchi. Although the problem was solved in the end, it was Yamauchi who dropped out. Is a reasonable result. But until these days, Kojinji discovered that this Ayanokaji classmate might also be hiding something secretly. When he was on the uninhabited island, although Kojinji was deceived by Oreki-san and went to try his best to get points, he also met Ayanokaji several times. At that time, he discovered that Ayanokaji's physical fitness was good, but he was constantly being restrained by his teammates, so if the opponent also had a solo group, they might be able to score a lot of points. I'm waiting for someone, Ayanokaji said. The same goes for you, Kojinji-san, right? Hee. Jyuinji seemed to smile. He was indeed waiting for someone. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, and I didn't bring the mirror out, Otherwise I could just look at my own peerless face in the mirror and wait slowly. Is it? Then it's probably the same person waiting. Ayanokaji-san thought to himself. But Oreki-san is not with them now. He went to see Principal Tsukijo. And it's a pity. After Oreki-san got the point card, Principal Tsukijo got busy again because a helicopter landed on the deck of the ship. The budget of the high education high school is very abundant, and the Italio family, as the chairman, has also made some investments. For example, the Hedgehog Cat, which transports students to take exams on the uninhabited island, also belongs to the Italio family. Then as a temporary means of transportation, the school is also equipped with a helicopter. As the student president, he also has corresponding permissions and can use them according to his own wishes. But Ziobanliu has not been used. The person who came off the helicopter today was De Banliu. Chairman Banliu. Mr. Tsukijo was still in the restaurant, but when he heard the noise outside, he quickly walked out and headed to the deck. Then when he saw the silver-white short-haired middle-aged man from a Kyosei high school walking out, he knew that this time the task of dealing with Ayanokaji Kiyotaka's withdrawal from school was a complete failure. A student was violently attacked. Things are bad. It's not allowed for schools. Therefore, Chairman Sakayanagi came to deal with it immediately after receiving the information report. The decision was probably to remove the prisoners directly from the school. And Yu Cheng has also considered this. It is better to say that this is also his exit plan. The result was right, but the process was regrettable. Because Ayanokaji's bracelet was given to someone else by Oreki, Shimakonori could only run behind, so he missed the opportunity to fight Ayanokaji. Then Shimakonori would not experience Ayanokaji like him. Shocked. And the other side. After Chairman Sakayanaga's helicopter arrived, Oreki-san did not go over to meet him. On the one hand, this was Itayaji's father, so it was a little awkward to meet him now, and he also had other jobs. That's money. This is the final point card for this uninhabited island exam. Oreki-san took out the point card he got from Tsukijo. Then take away according to their respective shares, Oreki-san said. The location chosen was the Grand Theatre on the ship, where Shakespeare's comedy 16th Night was being performed. But the people present were not interested in the performance on stage. Rather, what they are interested in now is points. This school is all about strength, and you can use points to buy anything you want. It's not that you can't buy it, but as long as you can afford the price. So it can also be understood as points first. Especially when they graduate, the school will use cash to exchange the points accumulated by the students, which means that they are making money while high school students are studying. Most people can't experience this kind of thing. According to the rules of this exam, the top 3 will be rewarded with points and class evaluation scores. The bottom 3 are responsible for paying the class evaluation points earned by the top 3. The result is as follows. The second-year class of Oreki and Kogendera, who won first place, received a class evaluation score of 450 points because it also had a trial card. And 1.06 million private points, protecting the title at 1. The second place was won by Katsuragi-san's team, but because he did not bring a trial card, he could only receive a 200-point class evaluation score reward. 560,000 private points. The third place was won by the team of first-year students Haru Sakurako and Utsunomi Yoriku, who received 100 class evaluation points and a total of 310,000 private points. The above are the rankings obtained. However, because the bottom 3 students are contracted by students from Class D of the first grade, the school still pays for this part of the score. The top 50% and 70% of students in the order of abstention will also receive an additional 50,000 private points and 10,000 private points. At the same time, each student who abstains will also receive a compensation of 50,000 private points. It can be said that this uninhabited island exam made everyone feel hard at first, but now, everyone has been paid. Mr. Tsukijo is such a kind man. But I suggest that the compensation plan for the waivers should be reduced for the first-year students, a third-year senior said at this time. This is Nagamo, the former vice president of the student union with blonde hair. But now he is just an ordinary classmate. But even as an ordinary student, he still gained the advantage of Class A in this exam. He defeated Class B's final ambition. Oreki-san is now inviting class representatives from the 3 grades here. For the first-year students, they are the representatives of the first-year ABCD, and for the second-year students, they are all old acquaintances, like Ryuan, Hiri, Katsuragi-san, Kushida-san, Horikita-san, and Hirata-kun. As for third-year students, there are only 2, Nagamo and Kiriyama-senpai. He is a third-year student and is no stranger to sit down and negotiate options like this. It would be better to say that his third grade has always been doing this, but now it is not a single third grader, but the entire school is dividing Principal Tsukijo's funds. Then there is no reason to miss it in the third grade. But Nanyun also had opinions. Because after Oreki asked the students to abstain, Nagamo directly led the third-year students to do so. As a result, there is no advantage if you abstain first. According to the rules, the top 50% and 70% rankings can also receive rewards of 50,000 and 10,000 private points respectively. Therefore, the third-year students who abstained early were directly ranked very low. Then this part of the reward is gone. This is the first time I have discovered that being obedient can lead to disadvantages. So Naeun doesn't want to take over this mess, and hopes to reduce the point compensation of 50,000 points for each person in the lower grades, and then make up for it here. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 574. And why can't you respect your seniors when your first-year juniors can get third place? In fact, Nanyun made a mistake. Because in the first grade, Oreki-san had long been sold to Ryuan. Therefore, Oreki-san can take part of whatever the first grade obtained. And Nagamo probably didn't notice that when the compensation plan was announced, the expressions of neither Utsunomiya nor Haru Sakurako changed. Because they got the third place, they will be rewarded with points and class evaluation scores. However, this also comes at a price. Their class cancelled the compensation of 50,000 personal points each received in response to Oreki-senpai's waiver plan. Just to get some class evaluation points. Current first grade scores are as follows. 800 points for first grade Class A. First grade Class B 750 points. Grade 1 Class C 560 points. Grade 1 Class D 0 points. So now that you have won third place, you will be rewarded with a class evaluation score of 100 points. So the current first year Class B, after climbing up from Class C, got a 100-point reward in this exam. So the class evaluation score became 850 points. It's already the new Class A. If Tians had not abstained from voting, the former student representative from Class A of the first grade was very unconvinced by this. Although they are the class representatives, they unexpectedly discovered that during this uninhabited island exam, their classmate Amasawa Ichika was very strong and received high scores one after another, possibly reaching the top 3. Then their class can also get rewards of class evaluation points to distance themselves from Class B. But it's a pity. When Tianzetu finished second, she abstained. Because he felt unwell, he had to go to the ship for treatment. In this way, her grades were invalidated, and Class A of the first grade instantly withered. When I noticed it again, I couldn't keep up, and I could only watch Utsunomiya and the others climb up. We were just invited to get the test results, Utsunomiya said. No matter who the opponent is, our class will never lose. He was in great spirits and looked confident. But Oreki-san is not optimistic about them. Because their base is Class C, even if they climb up, the school will make fine adjustments. After all, if the fundamentals do not change, it will not be possible to represent the school in society. So they might be like Shibashira-sensei's class in the past, rushing forward without realizing that there is no road ahead at all. But this fact is too cruel and needs to be experienced by themselves, but as Horikita's brother said, if they can really get to that position, they can also gain valuable experience. The experience gained by coming to the school can be used even in society. In this way, the first thing to be paid out from the point card is 50,000 points for each student except first year Class B that Oreki asked the 3 grades to abstain from. And Oreki-san doesn't like this kind of cheap points. So what really matters is the reward for the ride-along bet before the exam starts. Among them, 30 first-year students received the effect of additional cards. If the first grade is packaged to Ryuan can get 30x106x20,000 equals 63.6 million. Of course, in order to collect prop cards, Ryuan borrowed 10 million from Oreki. So after deducting it, Oreki can recover the 10 million lent and still get a net profit of 31.8 million. And this is just the reward for this uninhabited island exam. Oreki packaged the first-year students and sold them to Ryuan in order to quickly obtain 50 million points to complete system tasks. But now, everyone is on the ship, just waiting for the new students to take a test similar to the preferential treatment test to get a lot of points. Then there are the sophomores. There were also 20 bettors on the second-year students, but Oreki also asked Kushida to contact the third-year students, so he got 2 places to place bets. Then what you can get is 22x106x20,000 equal 46.64 million. If 20% is deducted for Kushida and Horikita, then they can also earn 37.31 million. Then came Nagayuna's third grade. Senior Nagamo also controls the information of 16 bettors, so he can obtain 16x106x20,000 equal 38.16 million. Nearly everyone who controls a grade makes a fortune. Among them, the one who is a little pitiful should be Nagamo-senpai. He was trying to obtain the information of the first place, and then because of his own initiative, So while he had to pay the agreed 10 million points to Kiriyama, he still had 28.16 million left on hand, but this value also included the milk tea shop that had already opened and made a steady profit every month. But this can be regarded as a direct method of monetization. After all, not everyone can buy his shop at will. So Nagamo-senpai comforted himself. The penny-sharing club organized by Oreki-san ended quickly, and Nagamoya also brought Kiriyama to the deck. Nagamo. It's just that Kiriyama, who usually looks relatively stable, is not in the right emotional state now. Of course. Because everyone has received the money, but his share, the share Neunya promised him, has not yet been received. Neun. I'll pass it on to you now. This time, Class B was completely defeated. Although the losses were a bit heavy, overall, it was worth it not only to secure their status, but also to gain more than 10 million points. Allah! At this time, a cute girl's voice came from behind Nagamo and the others. Kiriyama looked over and found a very cute girl with short silver hair. President Senior Kiriyama said immediately. Because the cute girl who arrived was none other than the Student Council President Sakayanagi Yuzu. Sakayanagi Yuzu was not alone. He was followed by other colleagues from the Student Council, Hashimoto-senpai, Kito-senpai, and Kamuro-san, the puppy used by President Itayanagi. When a few people appeared, they felt a little bit oppressive. But Sakayanagi Yuzu looks quite cute. It seems that Nagamo-senpai and Kiriyama-senpai are both in a good mood. Let me think about it, what happened? Did you get the money? Yuzu Sakayanagi said. I'm a little curious about how many points Nagamo-senpai has that he can use now. Nanyuan. Scare. What are you thinking? You are the girlfriend of that guy Oreki Houtarou. You are not allowed to be as curious as him. Because she had the experience of being taken away 10 million by Sakayanagi Yuzu, and then being stripped naked by Oreki Houtarou several times, Nagamomiya suddenly felt that she was uneasy with money in her hands, or else she would open a new one. Forget it. Replace working capital with real estate. Chapter 268 Sakayanagi Yuzu wants to drop out of school. Nagamo Sr.'s mood changed from slightly relaxed at the beginning to tense. Oreki-san, on the other hand, is quite relaxed. Due to the arrival of Chairman Sakayanagi, it has been confirmed that Principal Tsukijo and Shimanori will leave the school in the near future. After Oreki went to see Kojinji, he met Ayanokaji. Takahiraji just encouraged him and said that Oreki-san had achieved good results. However, he spent 6 days brushing up points by himself, but Oreki-san ended it in 2 days, which made him a little dissatisfied. It feels unfair. But I also feel that this is also a plan to cope with the exam, so ending it early is also an option. Then I hope to have another duel with Oreki-san. It's just that this time probably won't happen, because Oreki-san is not short of money, and he is encouraged this time. And for this special exam, the funds he will get will be 3,180 add 3,721 equals 69.11 million. This is just the cash received, and then there is the first year class B, oh no, Utsunomiya and the others who are now the new class A have a debt note of 30 million, and each student gave up 50,000 in this exam, the total income is 2 million. Then there is the milk tea shop that Chairman Nagamo has contributed to and has a good profit every month. So the total assets of the school are about 100 million. After that, first-year students will have their own special exam to earn points. As long as the exam starts, they can earn another 50 million points. These numbers should give Sakayanagi-san some peace of mind. So it is impossible for Oreki-san and Kojinji to compete. There is no need to get serious with each other. But the situation on Ayanokaji's side is a little more complicated. Although Principal Yu Cheng and the others failed this time, he revealed some information. It's the old life in the White Room. Exactly what a White Room is. The posture is wrong, you have to get up even if you are crawling, you know what will happen if you fall behind, right? Teacher, she fainted. Take care of yourself first. Thrown to the ground by the instructor, humiliated corporal punishment. Kyotaka, remember, having the ability but doing nothing is the most stupid thing. Blood on the ground, horizontal kick, side kick, up kick, changing line kick. Can't you do such a simple calculation? Don't stop without my order. Endless training mixed with reprimands. I could have done better if I didn't know. You have lost your chance. Distorted roars echoed throughout the room. A large number of remaining students fell into despair, and the number of students has been decreasing. Endless training mixed with reprimands. There is no future unless you become the strongest, no matter how dirty and despicable the means are, as long as you are the one who survives. The above is life in the White House. This made Oreki think back. Sakayanagi followed his father to a White House visit in the past, and at that time he saw the young Ayanokaji playing chess, and what he saw was that the opponent was very good. I think I only saw some superficial things when I visited. And under such high pressure, it's no wonder that Yagami Taku would become like this. Then I want to surpass Ayanokaji Kiyotaka, who is known as the highest masterpiece. Trying every possible means to get the opponent's attention, and then trying to defeat the opponent. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 575. Chingtaka, I want to leave here. The last remaining student from the same period said this to me. I asked him why. His answer was, I want to see the outside world with my own eyes. Ayanokaji explained this. This sentence was remembered by Ayanokaji. And that's why he wanted to escape from the White Room. Because he also wants to experience the so-called freedom. But unfortunately, some freedoms cannot be obtained only by expecting them. So all he can get is these hard-won 3 years of campus time. Oreki-san's head rested on a soft pillow. Although I have experience of surviving on an uninhabited island, and I followed Archangel Ichino's instructions last year to deal with the problem of the hard ground of the tent, and with abundant supplies, life on the uninhabited island is not difficult. But sure enough, the real pillows and the big bed make it feel comfortable. Ordinary students share a room with 2-3 people. Oreki-san paid points to get the room he booked last year. After all, this uninhabited island exam had received a lot of funds, and he had considerable assets, so there was no need to be harsh in this regard. However, about 2 days later, an announcement was made on the ship, and it seemed that another special examination for first-year students had begun. Mr. Tsuki City has confirmed that he will resign from the school next month, and Mr. Simadian was directly asked to wait for the ship to dock before he was removed from the position of head teacher of Class D of the first grade. The above are all solutions. However, the special examination for first-year students has already begun, so all they have to do is wait to collect the money. But what was surprising was that Oreki-san walked out of the room and came to a room on the second floor. Unfortunately, Xiao Banliu was not in her dormitory. She shares a room with Kamuro-san. This is also for the convenience of using Kamuro-san. Oreki-san is not surprised by this. Rather, he would like to thank Kamuro-san for his efforts, because Kamuro-san will still serve their family in the future. When Oreki-san was standing at the door of Yuzusake Inaga's guest room, a cute girl with a single golden ponytail walked by and spoke to him. If you are looking for President Sakayanagi, then she has gone to work. It seems that she took Katsuragi-san and Kiriyama-senpai to discuss with the teachers. Examinations on the ship for first-year students have begun, much like we did last year. But this time, the school had prepared special exams on the ship for second and third-year students, but in the uninhabited island exam, all 3 grades were betting on improving their scores. So the school can't provide that much funding for the time being, the girl replied. This cannot be denied. After the special examination on the uninhabited island this time, the class evaluation scores did not change except for the third graders, but there were changes for the second graders and first graders. The first grade is Utsunomiya and they got another 100 points after climbing up from Class C. And now they have surpassed the original Class A with a class evaluation score of 850. As long as they can successfully pass the exam on the ship this time, they will become the new Class A when they return to school. But for the second graders, there hasn't been much change, but the points are changing. Oreki and Kogendera won first place, while Katsuragi-san's team took second place. So in this special exam, Grade 2 classes scored 3,568.5 points. Grade 2 Class B 1,701.5 points. Class C, Grade 2, scored 588 points. Class D, Grade 2, scored 492 points. Oreki's class has surpassed Horikita Academy and received the highest score in the school's history. Although it is too early to be sure, the school has probably acquiesced that their class will represent the school and enter society when they graduate. Then preparing some special exams with high scores will be a waste of money for the school. So because they were worried that the first-year students would just make $70-80 million like Oreki and the others did last year, the school cancelled the scheduled special examinations for the second and third-year students this time. Otherwise, you will have to pay more money. That's why Arisu Sakayanagi led some members of the student council to discuss with the teachers that the event had nothing to do with the class evaluation scores, and at the same time, the points to be spent would not put too much pressure on the school. Second and third graders special exam. The above is the content of analysis. The other party also told the reason for Sakayanaga's absence. But did the other party call Sakayanagi President Sakayanagi? In other words, Megami still respects Italio-san. Then Oreki turned around and stared at the girl with golden ponytail passing by. Kurosawa Megami. So you weren't called, Oreki-san said. The current student council president is Sakayanagi Arisu, and some girls who met Oreki were brought to the student council by Itayanagi. I probably understand what she's thinking. I didn't want anyone to interfere when I was dating him, so I used the student union frame to lock up all my love rivals. Nohue said. Oh. This shows that Banyuki is indeed working. Because she probably knew that the only people she could count on to do the work were Katsuragi-san and Kiriyama-senpai. For the others, although Horikita-san was very honest and Shiina-san could also come in handy, Shiina-san was already trying to gain first-year points. Attacked. That's why Katsuragi and Kiriyama-senpai were arranged. Then. It was probably by chance that I met Oreki-san. But Kurosawa-san also wants to work hard. After all, when he was on the uninhabited island before, he couldn't replenish Houtarou's energy properly. So Hui held back her shame and actively invited. Houtarou, if you have some free time, why not go sit in my room? Then I probably thought about not having a room by myself, so I added some more. Sato-san was invited to play by Satsuki and the others, so there is no one in the room now. For it. By the way, you should be in the same room as Sato-san. It is undeniable that it is difficult to refuse the invitation directly from the second cutest girl in school. And now I can't see the cutest girl in school, so it wouldn't be too much to switch to the second most adorable girl. Only. I still don't want this. During the exam on the uninhabited island, he was holding hands with Horikita-san and was noticed by Nanase-san. And if someone sees him if he goes to Kurosawa's room, it won't be good. Oreki-san doesn't want to reveal too much yet. And the other side. That's about it. Student Council President Sakayanagi completed this meeting on special exams prepared for second and third graders. At first, the school prepared a score of about 400 points and a reward of about 30 million points, but the results of the uninhabited island exam made the school feel more reserved. Therefore, the special examination this time was cancelled and replaced with the participation of the student union, which did not involve class evaluation scores. At the same time, the cost of the private points awarded was reduced as much as possible. But this kind of thing is not difficult for President Sakayanagi. Aren't there many methods that can be used to reduce capital expenditures as much as possible while still taking into account the emotional stance of all parties? This special examination is for the second and third graders. Since the funds have been reduced, the difficulty of the examination will be reduced so that everyone who participates and those who do not participate can feel at ease, Sakayanagi Arisu said. So, my proposal is. Of course, because we set the exam rules, the student union members present will not be able to participate, but each person will be compensated with 50,000 points. The head teachers of class A of the two grades had no objections, while other teachers were responsible for making preparations. I can relax a little bit, Yuzo Sakayanagi said. Kamuro-kun, do you have any ideas? The divine room. I just want to have a good rest. Actually not, she was responsible for taking care of Banliu during the exam on the uninhabited island. Because the supplies on the uninhabited island did not have a washing machine, she helped him wash his clothes for another week. Last year I helped Oreki Houtarou do the laundry, and this year I helped Sakayanagi Arisu do the laundry. She felt a little anxious. Because if this continues, can she really avoid these two people completely? It's going very smoothly, Yuzo Sakayanagi said suddenly. Do you mean the exam? No, I'm talking about my own business, Sakayanagi said. She clicked on her student ID card. Name, Sakayanagi Arisu. Class, Class A, First grade. Student ID, 145056520. Private points account, 83 million. Oreki-san is really generous, Kamuro-san said. Because Sakayanaga's account has more points, a large amount of which is from this uninhabited island exam. Oreki gave the remaining part of the point card he got from Tsukijo to Sakayanagi Yuzu. As soon as Banliu was swiped on her mobile phone, she became a rich woman worth 80 million. I'm almost close to my goal, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. I hope to get 100 million in cash. Oh. Then according to the school's exchange mechanism, the ratio of points converted into cash is 0.8, so you have to prepare more than 100 million points. Now it looks like the progress is at least 70% complete. But what do you want with so much cash? Kamuro was puzzled. Probably dropped out of school early, Yuzu Sakayanagi said. After coming to this school, I felt good, but I have reached the peak of my student career, so I want to start preparing for my own life. Is it? You are the student council president, your father is the chairman, and your boyfriend is super profitable. From these perspectives, Sakayanagi Yuzu is indeed a winner in life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 576. And after graduating from Class A, you can get a letter of recommendation to enter the university you want without taking an exam or to pursue the career you want. From the perspective of ordinary people, they are rewards that can help or even fundamentally change life. But these are dispensable things for Sakayanagi Yuzu. It's just that Sakayanagi Arisu actually wants to leave school early. This is the first time Kamuro-san has heard this news. What is relevant to her is not what Banliu wants to do by dropping out of school early, but that she can finally be liberated. Sakayanagi Yuzu glanced at her. Kamuro-kun seems to be very excited about the news that I am dropping out of school, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. P.S. Rua. Looking for free blades. Ying. P.S. I didn't think it was very good before Volume 0. After reading the explanation today, it is indeed quite awesome. Chapter 269, the main mission is completed, so we have to help Sakayanagi. Is Banyanagi fighting with others? Sakayanagi Yuzu glanced at Kamuro Maesumi-san, whose inner thoughts were already reflected on his face. Kamuro-san always has a straight face towards everyone. But as long as you know her well, you can read her mood from her face. So something like this. Sakayanagi said calmly, you seem to be happy because I am dropping out of school, but unfortunately, I have already prepared your share of dropping out. The Divine Room. What do you want to do? I will never go with you. Kamuro-san is a student in Class A. I have the university I want to go to, I have my own life, and I will never drop out. Really, Banliu said, what if I could give you 500,000 yuan in cash every month? Haha, 500,000. Kamuro-san decided to refuse. The salary of ordinary people cannot reach this level. But it is still possible to do it if you work hard, especially if you graduate from Class A, then 500,000 is not a big number. Really? Then 1 million, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. The Divine Room. 1 million is already the income of the elite. In a novel about Harumano, there is a little demon school girl whose criteria for choosing a spouse is that her partner has an annual income of 10 million. 10 million is already a very good performance. 20 million a year, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. It can last up to 10 years. As for Kamuro-kun, you will have 200 million in 10 years. Think about it, with the recommendation letters from this school and your future development, can you accumulate this number? The Divine Room. This guy is too much. What kind of cash offensive is this? However, there seems to be no problem. Because with 200 million, you still need to stay in school for 3 years, and 10 years is equivalent to re-entering high school 3 times. Don't tempt me, Kamuro-san said. I have my own ideals. Oh, really? You are only 18 years old now, and you will not be 30 years old in 10 years. You will already have a sufficient financial foundation by then, so can you do whatever you want? Sakayanagi Yuzu said. And you can have it several times even for the cost of trial and error. The Divine Room. What is this guy saying to demagogic people? Only. Really, is it okay? Kamuro-san began to waver. Don't worry, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. My cash was also important before, only in the last 10 years. Oh. Kamuro-san's eyes suddenly became clear. Because Sakayanagi Yuzu is trying to get someone free by saying this. What does it mean that it won't be cashed out until the 10th year? If you were fired in the middle, wouldn't it be free? Snort. However, there is one thing that needs to be reported, Kamuro-san said after checking his phone. Yuzu Sakayanagi looked over. 99% of the people you arranged to go were exposed, she said. They were all discovered by the other party. Banliu. It's quite interesting. Then let's go meet this person. Night. The special examination for first-year students is still going on, and the assessment time is from 7 to 9 o'clock every night. This is a bit similar to Oreki and the others this time. It's just that unlike last year, this year's special exam is faster. And this also involves Oreki's plan. He sold the right to exploit first-year students to Hiri for 50 million points. And Hiri went to find Ryuan. Then Ryuan took advantage of this uninhabited island exam to avoid so much pressure to drop out of school, so he directly dragged the first graders to join the pirate ship. Help them skip this dangerous uninhabited island exam, and the price will be the reward when they return to the ship to take the exam. Then only now did the first graders realize that they had been tricked and deceived. Because the amount of points to be handed over surprised them, why not say that the school is actually so generous as a good person? While thinking about this, Oreki-san heard a familiar voice and discovered that the stop system task had been updated. Beep. Congratulations to the host for completing the main mission. Earning 100 million in 300 days. Get special rewards and get out of body. Remarks: the out of body experience can be used on yourself or on other people. Call. The task is finally completed. Oreki-san breathed a sigh of relief. He has been waiting for a mission with superpowers related to Sakayanagi Arisu's body. However, no new tasks have been triggered recently, so he was wondering whether he had to complete the previous task before a new one would appear. And this also means that the special exam for the first-year students is over. It is indeed over. The first-year students received point rewards from the school, and then transferred them to Long Yuan's account respectively. After Ryuan made statistics, he selected the 50 million share belonging to Oreki separately, and then divided it with Hiri. A little bit of a loss. Ryuan said. Because the freshmen this time did not receive as many points as they did last year, which was 80 million. In total, it was only 61 million. Oreki Houtarou alone will have to deduct 50 million points, so now he, Hiri, and the second-year Class C behind him have a combined share of only 11 million. It's pretty good now, isn't it? Shiana, a second-year student from Class C, said. Shiana-san has a sweet smile and her voice sounds very reassuring. We have already gained a lot from this exam, and being in the same boat with Oreki-san, not to mention other things, gives us a sense of security first of all, right? Otherwise, even if you get 5 million points you will still be under pressure. Long Yuan. This is a bit more reassuring. Because this guy Oreki Houtarou is not a human being, even the 800,000 he got in the first place has to be stolen away. But now, it is indeed unimaginable that it is safe to get points. Then let's continue, Ryuan said. Oreki will not interfere with the first year affairs anymore, so the first year students have become lambs now. If they were squeezed once without resistance, then naturally they can be squeezed a second time. It's indeed a good suggestion, Hiri was also thinking. She has accumulated more than 2 million points of her own, and then Oreki-san's monthly points of 200,000. Then, now in this uninhabited island exam, she was allocated more than 13 million. And now the additional examination on the ship also has an income of close to 3 million. So when combined, she is not far from the 20 million mark. And if you have 20 million, I'm afraid you will feel at ease no matter what you do. But the one in front is Ichika Amasawa from Class A, first grade. Ryuan, Hiri, Ishizaki Daiichi and the others stayed in a cafe. The French windows of the cafe could see the outside. I saw a cute girl with purple twin tails. It's just that she's not so cute, but a little astringent. And Long Yuan saw the schoolgirl frowning slightly. Probably Hiri nodded, she is the dark horse of Class A of the first grade. If she had not been injured and had to give up, she might have been able to compete for the top 3 in the uninhabited island exam. However, for now, this result is the most in line with their expectations. So both of them were in a good mood. Ryuan finally holds tens of millions of points again, and Shiina-san is about to reach the 20 million mark. So, Ryuan stood up and said, "Young ones, go spend some time. Inform the students in the class that I will pay for today's consumption." In this exam, every second-year Class C student from him to ordinary students had an income of close to 200,000 yuan. It's a big win. Of course, now it is free to enjoy and eat on the ship, so Long Yuan just pretended. Ichika Amasawa. Perhaps she noticed that someone was discussing her, and the girl with purple-red ponytails on the other side of the deck turned back in the direction of the cafe. But she didn't care. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 577. Instead, he directed his attention and eyes to the other side. A cute girl with short silver hair, holding a cane in her hand, came here under the umbrella of Maesumi Kamuro. "Isn't this the student council president, Sakayanagi-senpai?" Amasawa Ichika took the initiative to greet him. "Come and see how you are doing," senior sister Sakayanagi said. "I want to see how your injuries are doing." "Thank you so much for your concern, senior, my body is fine now," senior Tian said. "But you seem to be in a bad mood. Did the content of the text message you received make you feel complicated?" Yuzu Sakayanagi said. "But Amasawa Ichika received the text message 10 minutes ago, and Sakayanagi-senpai was not here 10 minutes ago. In other words, the other party obtained the information around her through other means. In other words, he was being monitored by the other party. After all, this is the deck, and there are many students. Although she was treated excessively, this young student from Tian smiled a little. "No, my mood is as joyful as ever. Because I feel like I'm free," she said. "Freedom." Sakayanagi Yuzu seemed to pause for 2 seconds. "When I was little, my father took me to a facility called the White Room and I saw some kids being trained through the glass. And I don't think that's a good place. Transforming ordinary people into geniuses, not to mention how hard the process is, but even if they really succeed, we can't deny that they have inherited excellent genes. I deny the practice of cultivating geniuses in White House. And what I can do, what I want to do, is to defeat the children who come out of there and prove that Shirofu is wrong," Sakayanagi Yuzu said. "I see. This Sakayanagi-senpai is here to issue a challenge. Tianzi's schoolmate has come to taste it? Then maybe you don't have to worry too much," Amasawa Ichika said. "Because I reported an incident of hurting people, I have been punished by Principal Yu Cheng and deprived of my status as a White Room student. So it's useless for you to defeat me now. Because I am no longer a White House student. That's it? So is there anywhere you want to go? Or, my family can still provide you with some support. As the daughter of Chairman Itayanagi, and having visited Hakubo's facilities because of her father, Sakayanagi Arisu knows more than others. White House and the Akyosei High School where I currently attend are actually the products of two camps with the same philosophy. Among them, the methods used by Yuchin High School are more gentle, while Baifang's methods are even more bottomless. The children inside were either abducted or abandoned, or were the illegitimate children of celebrities and politicians who could not be exposed or were unimportant. Because Baifang claims to train ordinary people into geniuses. So isn't it a good thing to send children in, wait until they grow up, and then recycle a genius who is excellent in all aspects? Therefore, quite a few people cooperate with Baifang. As for this junior student Amasawa, if you look at the surname Amasawa alone, Sakayanagi will probably know what her father looks like. But since he is a student from Baifang, then Amasawa junior classmate was probably just treated casually by her parents and kept in a white room, and she has never even met her until now. I think there probably isn't, Junior Tianzi said. Maybe I just want to be an ordinary girl first. For example, let's spend it happily. Eat a lot of delicious food and fall in love. This is what an ordinary student should be like. That's it, Xiao Banliu nodded. It was as if he listened to the wishes of the schoolgirl. But I need to remind you, President Sakayanagi inherited the mantle of the previous student council president. Even when it comes to love, I want to keep the bottom line. The school is not prepared to sell family planning supplies, so if something bad happens, you will be forced to drop out of school. I hope you remember this, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Amasawa Ichika nodded. She just thought that an ordinary girl might fall in love during this period, but she never thought that she would have to pay so much. But can I say one thing? Tianzi looked at this cute second-year senior who looked weak but was very aggressive. I didn't gag you. Indeed, can you take your second-grade puppies away? What they do with the so-called surveillance is really rough, and their various performances are simply unbearable. Amasawa Ichika ropeway ticket. You. Kamuro-san is behind Sakayanagi Yuzu, even though he is Itayanaga's tool. It's just that she also knew that the people Banliu arranged to go out this time were all elites in the class who were good at investigation, so it didn't work at all. Do you need me to point it out for you? But the schoolgirl blinked lightly. They can't even do the most basic disguise, said Ichika Amasawa. After all, you came from that place and you were aggressive towards ordinary students, so I paid attention to it, but now I see that I was overly concerned, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Really? Ichika Amasawa smiled, then walked in a direction with his cell phone. Hey, it's me, the surveillance is over. On the other hand, Sakayanagi Yuzu removed the student who was following Ichika Amasawa. But there is one person who has not failed, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Yamamura-san's surveillance was not discovered by her. Yamamura-san. This classmate Yamamura is a little transparent character in Class A. The only time he had a name was during last year's forest exam. That's when her group elected her to be in charge. However, there are no useless people in Class A. One thing that is unique about Yamamura-san is that he has a very low sense of presence. And now surveillance can continue. Only. Do we need to be so wary of a first-year schoolgirl? Kamuro didn't understand. You don't understand, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. I considered her dangerous status as a White House student, but she is no longer a White House student. And you just heard what the other party said. She wants to experience ordinary students, eating delicious food and falling in love. Who do you think she will find when she falls in love? Who are you looking for? People who come from a place like that won't look down on ordinary students. So we are looking for the most popular boy in the school. Who do you think is the most popular student? Sakayanagi Yuzu said. The most popular boy is definitely recognized as Oreki Houtarou, the handsome boy from class A of the second grade, a sports genius, and an academic giant. In other words, you are worried that the other person is eyeing your boyfriend. Talk. Need to be careful about this. I don't see you paying any attention to Kurosawa or Sato. Kamuro-san thinks it's unnecessary. Chapter 270, Is Horikita Suzune aware of love? While Sakayanagi Yuzu was paying attention to Amasawa-san, Oreki-san was paying attention to a specific person who needed attention. That was Horikita Suzune, who had a cold temperament and lived alone like a lone wolf. Of course, this is what ordinary people think of Horikita-san. Oreki-san, on the other hand, feels that Horikita-san is not aloof, but rather soft. It was just that during the exam on the island, Horikita Suzune was in something wrong. And now? It's almost noon, do you want to go have dinner together? Oreki-san sent a message. Only. Kushida-san and I ate together by Horikita Suzune. Oreki-san. Does this count as being rejected by the other party? Where are you now? Oreki-san sent a message to Kushida-san. I'm with Ichino-san, what's going on? Kushida-san's wording was a little distant, probably because he was with girls now, so it was difficult to reply to him in person. Rather, he is the boyfriend of the student council president. If it is known that he is so close to the boyfriend of the student council president, Kushida-san will be cast aside. So of course she wouldn't do such a thing if she has a high emotional intelligence. That's just the problem. Oreki-san crossed his arms. Because Horikita-san didn't go to dinner with Kushida, but told him that he was with Kushida. In other words, Horikita-san, you actually lied? Oreki does not think that Horikita Suzune is the kind of person who can lie. Her character is honest and upright, just like her brother. She is even considered to be less tactful. After spending the last year on campus, she has changed. But why lie? Horikita-san behaved strangely on the uninhabited island, so he was a little worried. And now this is the third time she has refused to meet with him. Rather, after returning to the ship, Horikita-san seemed to have been avoiding contact with him. Oreki. So what happened? So, in the restaurant where Principal Tsukijo was sent away, Oreki made an appointment with someone who was in the same room as Horikita Suzune. The other party is Sakura Eri. She is a thoughtful girl and one of the few friends of Oreki-san. The other party helped him a lot, and these Oreki-san remembered it. And now that Sakura-san has been invited by Oreki-san, it would be better to say that she is the easiest person to invite besides Megami and Sato-san. Sakura-san looked surprised. Horikita-san is actually avoiding you, Eri was surprised. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 578. That's more or less what it means, Oreki-san said. Sakura Eri. How should I put it? Sakura-san seemed to be caught up in past memories. Coming to the ship again reminded me of Horikita-san's psychological consultation with me during the ship's examination. Is it something from the past? This is Oreki-san's second uninhabited island exam. In the first time, he teamed up with Takahiraji and Horikita-san and completed the exam. Of course, the results of the exam are not important. For Oreki-san, there were 2 points that needed attention during the exam. That was when his relationship with Horikita-san went from being awkward in the same room at the same time to when she was able to smile when they shook hands. Sakura-san seemed to be hesitant, as if she was fighting morality, but in the end, her friendship with Oreki-san prevailed. Oreki-san, Sakura-san said. Is it possible that Horikita-san is aware of you? Consciousness, Oreki looked over. Yeah, Eri nodded. During the previous ship test, Horikita-san consulted with me. Well, that. Sakura-san is still fighting with morality, but in the end it seems that this side has won. At that time, Horikita-san felt that her state was very different when she shook hands with you. My reply was that she might be in love. Falling in love can bring people quite wonderful physical enjoyment, Sakura-san said. So, well, I think Horikita-san might have a crush on you. It's just that she may not have the consciousness of love, but she is avoiding you now, so is it possible that she has realized this, Sakura-san said. This made Oreki instantly recall how he had behaved when he avoided Ichino's. At that time, I even consulted the nerdy Horikita Manabu-san. Then I read to avoid having random thoughts about Ichino's-san. In other words, is the current Horikita-san stuck in the same state as her past? But this is not good. Because he would have random thoughts about Ichino's classmate, it was because he had a new experience in his precognitive dream, and he, who didn't have much experience, couldn't resist it for a while. In other words, he had erotic thoughts about Ichino-san at that time. So, the current Horikita-san actually thinks this way about him. And this kind of thing is not good. Thank you anyway, Sakura Oreki said. I'll take care of it. At the same time, he also understood what kind of moral struggle Sakura was fighting just now, because he was the boyfriend of the student council president, and then she wanted to tell him who liked him, which was a bit encouraging to cheat. So Sakura-san is really a good person. Well, that. But although the choice had been made, Eri felt that it was not a good choice. About this matter Oreki-san said. I entrusted Ayanokaji-san in your class. His family has access to the election. So in the future he will become prime minister, and at that time he will issue a decree that as long as the two parties truly love each other, even multiple partners can be recognized, Oreki said. Oh, Sakura nodded. But he quickly reacted, huh? Prime Minister? No, Oreki-kun, do you want to make such a proposal? Absolutely, Oreki-san said. Society's recognition is also very important, and Sakura-san, have you considered your future? Things to come? Future husband or something? Sakura-san said. How should I put it? I can't imagine the future at all. In other words, I will be alone in the future. This is her understanding. Rather, she is introverted and timid. When she came to this school, she knew very few members of the opposite sex, and Oreki-san was alone. Are you alone? Oreki said. I think Sakura-san will definitely be able to find her own happiness in the future. Probably because he felt that Sakura was always helping him, Oreki-san held her hand. Woo! But Oreki-san is recognized as the handsome guy in her grade, and he is the only member of the opposite sex she knows. And then his hand was held like this. Eri's face instantly turned red. At the same time, he became nervous and looked around. Because she doesn't want to compete with the student council president for a man. Only. I slightly want to see what Sakura-san will look like in the future. Oreki-san thought to himself. Because Horikita-san is in love. Oreki-san has experienced this kind of situation before, so he didn't deliberately embarrass the other party. He didn't embarrass Horikita, but he also wanted to relieve her worries. Then. Kusita, just bully me and ask me to teach Horikita about love. You must be poisonous. I don't even know what love is. Kusita, it's better to say that love is not reliable at all. The relationship experience of my friends is not a good one. Oreki. So the probability that the relationship you've been talking about and breaking up after graduation is so low is just based on observation of the surroundings. Oreki, don't you just have an obsession with Horikita-san? Kusita. There was no need for Kusita-san to reply immediately. Kusita, do you know something? Oreki. Not just know it, but experience it personally. And on the third day, students continue to enjoy their vacation, especially first-year students, whose special examinations on the ship have ended. So it's officially time to take a break. It's just that the exams on the ship are over for the first-year students, but not yet for the senior students. And thinking about it, the school sent out emails to all students at the same time in the early morning. Oreki-san took out his cell phone. The first thing that caught my eye was the notice from the school. Scavenger hunt will be held from 10 a.m. today. Oreki-san was having breakfast in the restaurant, and there were other students around him. But before checking specifically, Oreki-san looked in one direction, and then the upperclassman in that direction lowered his head. Oreki. That was probably a third grader. The third grade is related to Nagayunya. That is to say, in the past 2 days, Nagamo-senpai has constantly arranged for upperclassmen to keep an eye on him. What is this doing? Oreki-san has no other connection with him. Rather, whether it's the points from the last uninhabited island exam or the milk tea shop paid by Nagamo, it stands to reason that they have already been settled. So what does it mean to stare like this now? What do you want, Nagamo? Oreki-san walked directly towards the upperclassman who was acting as an informant. When did you come here? The senior student was stunned for a moment. Want to drop out of school? Oreki-san asked. Senior student. Oreki-san is recognized as the boyfriend of the student council president, so the threat level of his words is very strong. Nanyun has gathered some points in his hand. It seems that the student council president Idiao asked him about the points before. So I'm worried that you want to plunder it from him, the senior student said honestly. For it. These words made Oreki-san stunned for a moment. Then it was probably Zioben Liu's idea. She still wants money. Think so? Oreki-san started checking his phone. When I went to see Houtarou before, he was not there, but Kuruzawa, who is also a member of the student union, told me that Houtarou had gone to discuss a question with the head teacher of another class. In other words, this is the special test on the ship for the upperclassmen this time. The school sent a notice, but it was not a requirement. Treasure hunt game. 1 bonus games that you can freely participate in. 2 participation conditions, regardless of gender, more than 1 person can participate. A participation fee of 10,000 personal points must be paid. 3 implementation date, today, August 8th. 4 please go to the venue for detailed instructions, must arrive at the 3rd floor of the ship before 10 a.m. 5 you can choose not to participate after listening to the explanation. After checking, Oreki-san touched his chin. You can participate or not, and you need to pay points to participate. In other words, every year the school will give a grade and assessment to obtain a large number of class evaluation scores and private points. In last year's preferential candidate exam, Oreki-san used the plan to get the most points, earning 80 million points from the school. And this time the first grader used the method that could get the most benefit. Then the school's expenditure will exceed the budget again. Therefore, the point-paying exam for senior students will probably have to be cancelled. Then it was changed to this. You can choose to participate or not, and you have to pay to participate, but you should get good rewards. Diddy. Oreki-san's cell phone rang. It was Kuruzawa who sent a message. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 579. It probably meant asking him if he had received a text message about the scavenger hunt. Then, because I am a member of the student council, I have to help out and cannot participate. So it's really hard work. At 10 o'clock, Oreki-san went to the designated 3rd floor of the ship. The presiding officers of this exam were President Sakayanagi and Mr. Majima in the class. Over at the summit, she held her cane quietly with a cute smile, and her eyes seemed to fall over. The smile became cuter. Indeed. Sakayanagi-san is very cute. Oreki-san is not obsessed with his girlfriend's cute smile. He looked around. Because the information received is that you have to pay money, and then you can participate or not. Only about 200 students participated. Over at the entrance, Horikita-san and Ichi-nose were making preparations for recording. It is estimated that the list of people who choose to participate in the scavenger hunt will be entered, and then the registration fees submitted by the students will be collected. She seemed quite serious. It seems that there are no problems with Horikita-san. When I think about it, Oreki found himself looking into each other's eyes. Boom. The card reader in Horikita Suzun's hand fell to the ground. Horikita-san, standing next to Horikita-san is Ichi-nose-san, who is the secretary. Because he was standing very close, Ichi-nose noticed that Horikita-san's body suddenly froze, and then he seemed to have lost his soul in an instant. No, it's nothing. Horikita Suzun lowered her head and picked up the card reader. Oh, from Archangel Ichi-nose's perspective, something must have happened to Horikita-san, but she refuses to say it now, so it would be very impolite to ask. When Suzun looked over again, she found that Oreki-san was already looking towards Mr. Majima along with the other students. But Suzun held her chest with her left hand. Ichi-nose-san, she chose to ask, do you have any experience in love? Ask her this. She has never been in love, so she doesn't understand it at all. Rather, she wanted to fall in love but was rejected by the other party. I try to attract you, but the other person never comes. Wait a moment. Horikita-san, you asked this question, could it be that? Chapter 271 Can't a defeated dog scream? Come on. Ichi-nose-san was surprised. However, she was not unaware. As a bystander, she could still find that Horikita-san and Oreki-san had a very close relationship. But neither Oreki-san nor Horikita-san showed their feelings. For example, when Itaiji-san and Oreki-san openly dated before, Horikita-san, you didn't react at all, which made Ichi-nose wonder if he had misunderstood. Horikita-san may not have that intention towards Oreki-san. And now? Horikita-san, are you saying that you just realized now that you like Oreki-san? So what should she do? You are friends with Horikita-san, and you are also friends with Sakayanagi-san. Which side are you going to stand on now? Woo! Archangel Ichi-nose instantly became troubled. While thinking this, Ichi-nose noticed that Oreki-san, who had already walked to the group of participating students, seemed to be looking here. Ichi-nose. Ichi-nose. Angry. It's all Oreki-san's fault. Oreki-san noticed that Archangel Ichi-nose seemed to have suddenly become fierce. But now Mr. Mashima has begun to announce the content of this special exam for 2nd and 3rd grade students. Before I begin, let me explain why I decided to do the scavenger hunt. This treasure hunt was initiated by Arisu Sakayanagi, who is the student council president. After being exposed to the harsh life of an uninhabited island and competing with each other by grade, we should also have fun in order to strengthen our relationship. Fun and leisure activities. Mr. Sakayanagi, please come forward and give a speech. And with that said, the student council president moved forward. First of all, this award game was held with the full assistance of the school. The student union's practice is to enrich and enhance campus life, so this proposal was made. Although most of the entire grade will compete with each other fiercely during the uninhabited island exam, this treasure hunt allows you to form partners across grade barriers. Please take advantage of this and participate in the game. Xiao Banliu's speech was more official, but it quickly attracted the attention of the students. The registration fee to participate is 10,000 points, and the minimum individual points that can be obtained is 5,000 points. We have prepared 100 stickers with QR codes printed on them. After you find the sticker and scan it, you will get points. 50 of the stickers have a denomination of 5,000 points, which is exactly half of the total number. And the second largest one is 10,000 points. There are 30 stickers in total. So if the 80 stickers don't make money, can they still lose money? The students below were a little noisy. But President Sakayanagi continued. But the remaining 20 stickers are different. 10 cards are worth 50,000 points, 5 are worth 100,000 points, and 3 are worth 300,000 points. Then the remaining 2 are worth 500,000 points and 1 million points respectively. Good guy. Students who just thought they might lose money by participating immediately paid attention. Because it's attractive. 20 out of 100 stickers can make money, and at the same time, it is even possible to make a small profit. As a result, everyone paid attention to President Sakayanagi. At the same time, because of the estimated number of participants, we allow 2 people to form a team using the tablet below the school, and then swipe the QR code together to obtain the amount on the QR code. In other words, if both parties in the team find the QR code with 1 million marks, then everyone will get 1 million points. After scanning, our students will assign the points to your private account, and the list of students who have received awards will not be announced, Sakayanagi Arisu said. Hey. In other words, if you submit 20,000 points, can you get a direct reward of 2 million? Is there such a good thing? Participants are regardless of grade and can work in pairs. In addition, the scope of places where QR codes will be posted has been decided in advance. They are distributed throughout the ship, but of course there are also many places that are designated as inviolable areas. For example, toilets and guest rooms will not have 2D barcode stickers hidden, and floors and interiors reserved for staff are also excluded. Then after participating, you can go to the staff to get specific written instructions. It should be noted that there are 3 puzzles in the description. As long as these puzzles are solved, you can learn a total of 3 hidden locations of the 2D barcodes. Of course, the information that the QR codes of these 3 puzzles can reveal is 100,000 QR codes or more. The specific amount is completely entrusted to the staff on the ship, so even the members of the student union don't know. The general rule is this. After President Sakayanagi explained, the students began to understand. Those here are sophomores and juniors. Have extensive experience in special examinations. Moreover, most of the students who are not very smart find that they don't have to take the exam. If they have to pay an registration fee to participate, then they probably won't come here. So most students understand the rules. Because it is the student union that operates and maintains it. So the student council secretary Ichinose also walked out with a microphone. I am Ichinose from the student council. I have something to trouble all participating students. In order to prevent cheating, I hope that participants will pay the 10,000 point participation fee when they leave the room, and also write their names on the table registers on Horikita-san and Kushida-san's side. We do not recognize any acts of signing on behalf of others. This is a measure to prevent someone from using a third party's mobile phone to participate illegally. Please understand. After receiving the reward, please return here to report before the end of the game. If this is ignored, the reward may be ineffective. This is something to note. After all, everyone can just scan a QR code and get points, right? So the limit has to be increased. Oreki-san looked at Horikita Suzun and saw that she had already sat down. Kushida-san is also assisting her. Otherwise, with a total of about 200 students participating, it would be too slow for one person to be responsible for recording and subsequent points. Oreki. Following the announcement from Ichinose-san, students have already started queuing up to register with Horikita-san and Kushida-san. After all, although most of it depends on luck, even the members of the student union don't know which QR code is for 1,500,000. But first get the text description and solve the 3 mysteries above, then you will get at least a minimum reward of 100,000 points. So some students probably have the idea of first come, first served. In this way, students who signed up and paid the participation fee of 10,000 points began to line up. Don't you want to go? Oreki-san. There were other members of the student union present. The other party noticed that Oreki-san was heading in a different direction from the students queuing up, so he didn't leave and just waited aside. So I came over to chat. I'll wait a moment, Oreki-san said. Let other students sign up first. That's it? The member of the student union nodded. So do you have someone to form a team with now? The partner of the team, Oreki-san looked over. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 580. The other person has slightly curly orange hair, beautiful facial features, and his eyes often have some blurry colors. Petite in stature, but looks quite cute. Ordinary students will choose to wear the white shirt issued by the school. But she is different, she likes to wear orange shirts. The legs are also wearing white bubble socks. This is Maya Sato, whom I dated once or twice in the past. Huh, Oreki-san looked over. The other party probably noticed that it seemed like a serious invitation, so he quickly explained. Although Horikita-san, Ichino-san, Kushida-san, Katsuragi-san, and other student council members who participated in the arrangement will not participate, but a fisherman like me can still do it. Look, Shiina-san is also in the queue. Following Sato-san's voice, Oreki-san looked at the team. Indeed. Saw it inside. She seemed to be talking to Ibuki, who had short blue hair. And Ibuki was listening carefully even though his face was expressionless. Rather, I originally asked Shiina-san and Sakura-san to do the subsequent prize redemption verification work together, Sato-san said. But Shiina-san said she wanted to take the exam, so she had no choice but to entrust Megami to do it. That's it? Oreki-san felt that she had received a message from Ichijo Kuruzawa hoping to form a team together, but she quickly replied, forgetting what had just happened, and she could not participate. The result is this. Shiina-san still loves money so much. Hiyori-san certainly doesn't love money. She liquidated her assets and already received 18.7 million. In other words, there is only a gap of 1.3 million from 20 million. And now she is tricking Ibuki into participating. If you are alone, even if you get a QR code worth 1 million, you can only swipe it once. Although she doesn't like to socialize, it doesn't mean that she is not good at it. And if it was to fool others into forming a team, I felt it was a bit excessive, so I chose Ibuki, who was also a member of the student council, had many contacts at the same time, and seemed reliable. The specific plan is that if a denomination of 1 million points is obtained, Ibuki will get 500,000 and Hiyori will get 1.5 million. Why do I only have 500,000? Ibuki-san looked very dissatisfied. Because you want to, Ibuki-san, can you solve the mystery in the description? Hiyori-san remained sweet. Do you think the 3 QR codes clicked on the text description may be worth 1 million? Ibuki finally caught up with the topic. That's what I guessed, Shiina said. Although the president said it is unlikely, since it is written in the text, it must be worth cracking. It's a mindset, and I think if you can solve the 3 puzzles in the description, you can get 1 million points. Of course, this is still a choice of 3, so we can do some operations at this time, Shiina said. That is to say, it invites people to find the QR codes corresponding to the 3 answers in the text description. And if the QR code obtained by Hiyori is worth 1 million points, then of course she wants it herself. When joining forces with Ibuki, Ibuki would definitely not be able to find it if she looked for it on her own, so she had to take away some of the points. At the same time, if she can guess 3 answers to the riddle and then find 2 groups of people, she can get the 1 million points. Since it is a 2-person team, she can get 1.5 million. In other words, Shiina-san is also happily collecting points. And Oreki-san looked away. Shiina-san is so realistic. I understand a little bit why she can't continue to be a librarian in the future. Because I love money so much, how can I calm down and read a book? And the other side. Because the rules have been announced, President Sakayanagi can already rest. According to her past actions, she would leave immediately after finishing her work. Very decisive. But now she's still there. Her puppy Kamuro-san, on the other hand, stayed by her side and made a report. Do you think this is really okay? Kamuro-san said. Now Oreki, Houtarou and Sato-san are together. Sato-san is actually Maya Sato, and it was previously rumored that Sato-san asked Oreki-san for a date. Of course, everyone knows that she failed. At that time, Banlieu's classmate was dismissive. Oreki-san finally chose to date Yuzo Sakayanagi. And now, is this defeated dog student actually trying to get in touch with Oreki-san? Sato, Dan Sakayanagi Yuzo said. That kind of loser with no courage is not worth mentioning. This is true. After Itaiji-san made a high-profile announcement that he was dating Oreki-san, Sato-san wanted to cause trouble, but in the end he was obedient, wasn't he? Therefore, in Koitanaga's view, Sato-san is not a threat at all. And the other side? Because the other party proposed it on his own initiative, and Oreki-san is not the kind of person who is good at rejecting others. So, the two took out their tablets and formed a team. Only. After waiting in line, when it was finally his turn, he chose the table on Kushida-san's side to register. Sato went to Horikita-san's table to register. Although he lowered his head to record, Kushida-san raised his head probably because he noticed a familiar scent. Then, as expected, it was discovered that Houtarou Oreki had arrived. But Kushida looked at Horikita Suzun when Oreki-san was signing. Horikita-san probably noticed this too. Although she was helping Sato-san register, her expression remained calm. But as someone who knows her well, Kushida-san has noticed that Horikita-san seems to have been shaken in her heart. Reminiscent of Oreki's words asking her. So Horikita Suzun clearly fell in love with Houtarou Oreki last year, but now, did she realize it? This wood has finally bloomed. However, Kushida pressed his chest. I feel that Horikita Suzun can fall in love, which makes me feel slightly unhappy, but also relieved. Because if the other party doesn't value Oreki Houtarou, then there is no value in taking him away. Chapter 272 Can't a defeated dog scream? Next. Entry successful. Although Kushida-san and Horikita-san, who were also doing the registration work, were not too far apart, Oreki did not go to Horikita's side. Instead, he completed the registration at Kushida and turned around to leave. It can be learned from Sakura-san that Horikita-san's strange state from the uninhabited island is a sign of love. That's it? Oreki-san felt that she had already started. The results are only now blooming. But now, Horikita-san seemed to be aware of him and subconsciously avoided him or would be shaken by seeing him. Oreki-san has had this experience, and his solution at that time was cold treatment followed by heat treatment. At first, try to focus on other things instead of thinking randomly, and then try to get in touch slowly. So I have to give Horikita-san some time. But use yourself to save others. At that time, I had erotic thoughts about Archangel Ichinos. And now, does an upright person like Horikita-san have lustful thoughts about him? It's really amazing. Because Arisu was not in good health, Oreki-san couldn't do anything. Although Horikita-san has been studying, she still exercises and her physical strength is not bad. Just because of Horikita's brother's promise, some things are very risky, otherwise the recognition of Horikita Manabu, which was finally obtained with great difficulty, will be immediately denied. I always feel that there are so many people and everyone is very enthusiastic about it, said Sato-san, who was next to Oreki as he walked out of the room. In fact, the treasure hunt has already started after registration. After all, the QR code has been posted, and it is still limited. Naturally, it's first come, first served. Then, some students probably started looking for team partners, and then there were also people like Hiyori-san who started to recruit people to join the team. After all, getting 1 million with 10,000 points is very attractive to ordinary students. The specific manifestation is that probably after the exam rules were announced, new students began to pour in. These faces are usually second or third year students from Class C or Class D. Very bad numbers. Understandable. Only. It's almost time to let go, Oreki-san said. But Sato-san beside him seemed surprised. But it's not the time for you to be surprised, because Oreki-san's left hand was hugged by the opponent. Then now we are going to the spa where we can get a massage. According to the rules of the treasure hunt game, QR codes will be posted everywhere, but not in places where they cannot be posted, such as employee lounges, ordinary student dormitories or toilets. So it stands to reason that it is possible for such a relaxing place to post a QR code. Oreki-san just took a few quick glances and found that there was no trace of the QR code in this small single room. Rather, if only 100 of them are posted, the probability of them being posted in an ordinary single room is very small.